Some cars are born legends. They dominate headlines, star in movies, and end up on bedroom posters. And then there are others, machines that were brilliant, ambitious, and sometimes even ahead of their time, but got completely forgotten. They slipped quietly into the shadows, leaving behind only a whisper in car enthusiast circles. Today we're bringing 4 of those lost legends back into the spotlight. 4 Japanese cars that dared to be different, broke rules, and then vanished from memory. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be wondering how these machines ever faded into obscurity. 1. Mazda Familia Rotary Coupe, the tiny rebel with a big heart. Picture Japan in the late 1960s. The country's auto industry was booming, and Mazda had just stunned the world with the rotary-powered Cosmo Sport. But they weren't done. They wanted to take that futuristic rotary technology and make it accessible, not just for the wealthy, but for everyday drivers. And that's how, in 1968, the Mazda Familia Rotary Coupe was born. It didn't scream supercar. It was compact, lightweight, and surprisingly practical. But under the hood was where things got interesting. Mazda dropped in the 10A rotary, 2 small rotors spinning to create 982 cubic centimeters of displacement and pushing out 100 horsepower at a screaming 7,000 RPM. Thanks to the car's low weight, just over 800 kilograms, it was fast, nimble, and handled corners with agility most bigger cars could only dream of. Yes, it had flaws. The rotary engine drank fuel and demanded more maintenance, but nothing else on the road drove quite like it. And Mazda didn't stop there. They turned the 100 Rand into a racing weapon. In 1969, it won its class at the Singapore Grand Prix, followed by strong showings at the Spa 24 Hours and Nürburgring endurance races. It even conquered Suzuka, proving the critics wrong about rotary reliability. Production ended in 1973, but the legacy of the Familia Rotary Coupe lived on. It laid the foundation for Mazda's legendary RX-7 and RX-8 and cemented Mazda as a company that refused to play by the rules. 2. Daihatsu Fellow Max, the K-car with big ambitions. While Mazda was chasing high-revving performance and rotary glory, Daihatsu was tackling a very different and very Japanese challenge. How do you build a car that thrives in the tight, crowded streets of Tokyo and Osaka? Their answer was the Daihatsu Fellow Max, a K-car launched in 1970 that might have been small in size but was absolutely massive in ambition. At just 118 inches long and 51 inches wide, the Fellow Max was tiny even by compact car standards. It could practically fit into a modern SUV's parking space sideways, but every millimeter of its design was carefully considered. Smart packaging gave it a surprisingly roomy cabin, and its feather-light 550-kilogram weight made it nimble and responsive. Under the hood was a 360 cubic centimeter 2-cylinder engine producing 33 horsepower. Not exactly muscle car territory, but in a car this light, it was more than enough to make city driving feel lively and fun. And for those who craved a bit more punch, Daihatsu offered the Fellow Max SS. This sporty variant, with twin carburetors and a bump to 40 horsepower, could hit 120 kilometers per hour, lightning fast for a K-car of its time, and proof that small didn't have to mean slow. One of the Fellow Max's biggest innovations was its adoption of front-wheel drive, which was still uncommon in K-cars at the time. That simple change unlocked more interior space, improved traction on wet or slippery roads, and gave the car sharper handling, features that would go on to become defining traits of the entire K segment. Daihatsu didn't stop there. The Fellow Max also introduced front disc brakes, a rarity among cars of this size and price point, improving safety and braking performance. And buyers could pick from a range of trims to suit their style, from the sporty personal version aimed at younger drivers to the upscale deluxe, which offered luxuries like air conditioning and a radio that made city commuting far more comfortable. And then there was the quirky side project, the Fellow Buggy. Built on the same platform but featuring a fiberglass body, it was aimed at adventurous drivers who wanted something playful and unconventional. It looked more at home zipping along a beach than weaving through city traffic, and while it wasn't a huge seller, it showed Daihatsu's willingness to experiment and have fun with the K-car formula. The Fellow Max also arrived at just the right moment. The 1970s oil crises pushed fuel economy to the top of buyers' wish lists, and this little car was exactly what people were looking for. Cheap to run, incredibly efficient, and perfectly suited to urban life. It was easy to park, easy to maintain, and surprisingly enjoyable to drive. More importantly, it helped establish front-wheel drive as the standard layout for K-cars, a decision that shaped the segment's future for decades. Competition from Honda's N360 and Suzuki's Fronte was intense, but the fellow Max held its ground and built a loyal following among city dwellers and driving enthusiasts alike. It proved that a car didn't need a massive engine or an expensive badge to be desirable. It just needed clever engineering, smart design, and a sense of personality. Today, the fellow Max is remembered as a cult classic, a symbol of Japan's post-war ingenuity, and a reminder that innovation often comes in the smallest packages. In a market obsessed with bigger, faster, and more powerful, Daihatsu's pint-sized overachiever showed that tiny can still be mighty. 3. Mitsubishi Debonair 5. Japan's forgotten luxury gamble. Fast forward to the 1980s, and Japan's car market was evolving. Drivers didn't just want efficient city cars or sporty coupes, they wanted luxury. And Mitsubishi, known for rugged off-roaders and practical sedans, decided to take on the giants of the executive car world. Their weapon? The Mitsubishi Debonair V, built from 1986 to 1992. This wasn't just a facelift of an old model, it was a total rethink. Mitsubishi switched from rear-wheel drive to a front-engine, front-wheel drive layout, freeing up interior space and creating a flat cabin floor. That might sound like a small detail, but for chauffeured executives, it meant unmatched rear seat comfort. Buyers could choose between a tax-friendly 2.0-liter V6 or a more powerful 3.0-liter DOHC V6 with about 150 horsepower. It wasn't about speed. It was about smoothness, silence, and sophistication. A 4-speed automatic ensured relaxed cruising, while the interior wrapped passengers in wood trim, plush upholstery, and top-tier sound insulation. Even the trunk was carefully measured to fit 2 golf bags because, well, Japan. But Mitsubishi had one more surprise up its sleeve, a collaboration with AMG. Before AMG became a global performance brand, they teamed up with Mitsubishi to create the Debonair 3000 Royal AMG. The changes were mostly aesthetic, new body kit, special wheels, upgraded leather, but they gave the sedan a premium aura that set it apart from its rivals. Unfortunately, the Debonair 5 never truly broke through. Competing against well-established models like the Toyota Crown and Nissan Cedric was tough, and Mitsubishi's lack of luxury pedigree didn't help. Still, it found a niche among executives who valued comfort and uniqueness. Today, the Debonair, especially the rare AMG variant, is a prized collector's car. It's a symbol of an era when Japanese brands weren't afraid to aim high and experiment with global partnerships long before it was common. 4. Nissan Leopard F30. The tech pioneer that time forgot. Our final hidden gem arrived in 1980. The Nissan Leopard F30, a luxury sports car that was way ahead of its time. It was conceived to bridge a crucial gap in Nissan's lineup, something more refined and high-tech than the everyday family sedans, but more compact, stylish, and dynamic than the full-size executive flagships. And what they ended up building was a car that blended luxury, performance, and innovation in a way few others dared to at the time. Buyers could choose between a 4-door hardtop sedan and a sleek 2-door coupe, both wearing that sharp, angular styling that defined early 80s Japanese design. Large glass surfaces gave the cabin an airy, modern feel, and the coupe's dramatic wraparound rear window, a single curved piece of glass that flowed seamlessly into the trunk line, was unlike anything else on the road. It wasn't just a design statement, it became one of the car's most recognizable traits and gave it a distinctive, futuristic presence that still turns heads at classic car shows today. Under the hood, the Leopard wasn't afraid to flex. The base model came with a turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-six, pushing out 145 horsepower. Impressive numbers in an era when many competitors were still hovering around 100. For those who preferred smooth, linear power delivery, the larger 2.8-liter L28E engine was available, paired with a 5-speed manual gearbox that offered a satisfying, engaging drive. Rear-wheel drive and a carefully balanced chassis gave the Leopard excellent handling characteristics, while ventilated disc brakes on all 4 corners and a well-tuned suspension system delivered a confident, composed ride that felt both sporty and refined. But where the Leopard truly left its mark was in its technology. Nissan didn't just add a few fancy features, they loaded the F30 with innovations that wouldn't become mainstream until decades later. It was the first production car in the world to feature steering wheel controls using optical communication, allowing drivers to operate key functions without taking their hands off the wheel, something we now consider standard. High-end trims came with a fully digital instrument cluster, complete with a real-time fuel consumption gauge, an impressive feat for the early 80s when most dashboards were still dominated by analog dials. And then there was the pièce de résistance, an optional 6-inch CRT screen in the center console. This wasn't just a gimmick. It could display live TV broadcasts when parked, show audio system information, and even connect to a camcorder, turning the car into a kind of early multimedia hub. To ensure top-notch performance, Nissan partnered with Sony to develop the audio and video systems, a collaboration that pushed the Leopard even further into futuristic territory. Despite all this cutting-edge tech and forward-thinking design, the Leopard F30 struggled to find mainstream success. Fierce competition from Toyota and Mazda in the luxury sports segment made it hard to stand out, and many buyers simply weren't ready for a car so far ahead of its time. Production ended in 1986, just 6 years after its launch, and the Leopard quietly slipped from showrooms into history. But its influence didn't vanish with it. Many of the innovations pioneered in the Leopard would go on to appear in Nissan's later luxury models, and even helped shape the foundation of what would become the Infiniti brand in the years to follow. Today, the Leopard F30 enjoys cult status among enthusiasts who recognize it not just as a rare classic, but as a groundbreaking piece of automotive history. It's a forgotten pioneer, a car that pushed boundaries, embraced bold ideas, and quietly changed the way we think about technology inside a car. So why revisit these forgotten machines? Because they represent something rare in the modern automotive world. Bold ideas and fearless experimentation. The Mazda Familia rotary coupe redefined small car performance. The Daihatsu Fellow Max proved that K-cars could be practical and fun. The Mitsubishi Debonair V challenged luxury conventions with clever engineering and an unexpected AMG twist. And the Nissan Leopard F30 brought future tech features to the present decades before anyone else. They might not have been commercial blockbusters, but their influence is everywhere. From rotary engines to front-wheel drive layouts, from digital dashboards to steering wheel controls. These cars walked so others could run. So which of these forgotten Japanese cars surprised you the most? Was it Mazda's fearless rotary experiment, Daihatsu's city-sized overachiever, Mitsubishi's ambitious luxury gamble, or Nissan's tech-packed time machine? Whichever it was, let's give these underdogs the recognition they deserve. Drop a comment with your favorite, hit subscribe for more deep dives into hidden automotive stories, and don't forget to like the video if you love uncovering the cars that history left behind. Because sometimes the most fascinating machines aren't the ones we remember, they're the ones we almost forgot.